I was eating barbecue by the roadside. Then dozens of Maybachs screeched to a stop in front of me. My ex-girlfriend, Liu Ruyan, directed people to set off fireworks, while having bodyguards carry over 100 high-end bespoke suits. My husband. I'm back. Well, I said 5 years, and I meant 5 years. I didn't make you wait one extra day. Pretty loyal of me, right? Pick one. We're having our wedding in a week. Don't worry. I've finalized the divorce with Jingchen. Now, we've agreed to just be best friends. Purely platonic. I frowned, and looked at her like she was insane. Crazy woman. I turned to leave. Liu Ruyan rushed over, and blocked my way with a huge bouquet. Don't be mad. You know my parents forced me into an arranged marriage. I had no choice but to agree. Didn't I get married and divorced in no time? I came back for you right away. Since you waited for me for 5 years, I've decided to give you half my assets. What do you think? Isn't that generous enough? I've arranged the wedding already. My husband won't have to worry about a thing. My vision went dark. I shouted at once. Where are the bodyguards? Are you dead? Why aren't you doing anything? I've already had a child, and now she's here fawning all over me. She really thinks she's something special. The bodyguards were just about to rush her, when Liu Ruyan suddenly laughed like an idiot. Ha ha ha. Muyan, after 5 years, you're still the same. I like it when you're mean to me. You haven't even replaced your bodyguards. You're really sentimental. And here I was worried you'd forgotten me. She smiled and greeted the bodyguard. Big guy, do you remember me? 5 years ago, when I climbed the wall to see Muyan, you were the one who shoved me. My leg still hurts. After the joke, her expression turned serious. Muyan, you know, you're the only one in my heart. We both had our difficulties back then. You refused to go abroad with me, and I couldn't defy my family and stay behind. Luckily, all that mess is behind us now. I've already talked it over with Jingchen. From now on, we're just best friends. My parents know I'm divorced, so they won't stop me from coming back to you anymore. I looked her over as if she were an idiot. Liu Ruyan, did you come back from abroad, but leave your brain there? Do you think you're gold or diamonds? That every man wants you? We're from the same circle. You think you're the only one who needs an arranged marriage, don't I? Liu Ruyan's eyes widened, but her gaze remained teasing. Stop joking with me. In an arranged marriage, people want a gentle, considerate husband who would marry someone as hot-tempered as you, so they can take you home and wait on you hand and foot. Only a fool like me dated you for years and gave in to you at every turn. Look at everyone else. If you lose your temper, they talk right back. Seeing my expression darken, Liu Ruyan quickly softened her tone. All right. I won't make you angry. Everything before was my fault. I was wrong. Please, be merciful and let me off the hook. Besides, I'm back now, aren't I? You're already in your 30s, and you're still not married. Your parents will blame me for it. She gave a smug little laugh, and it made my blood boil. 5 years ago, we were ready to get married. Then she suddenly said we couldn't marry, that she needed time to talk it over with her family. Then she vanished without a trace, worried something had happened to her. I searched everywhere for her. I even called the police. But the police said the Liu family had already completed their immigration paperwork. They had moved overseas 3 days earlier. I followed their flight information and found her having an outdoor wedding with Zhou Jingchen. Without a word, I tried to take her away, but the bodyguards threw me out. When she came looking for me, I'd been mistaken for a homeless man and locked in a police station without food for 2 days. You know what my parents are like. They insisted I marry Zhou Jingchen. They said it was the only way to establish ourselves abroad. I couldn't fight them anymore. Otherwise, they said they'd break my legs, so I'd never be able to come find you again. She was the one who caused it all. Yet she cried even more pitifully than I did. Muyan, will you wait for me? I promise. I won't lay a finger on him. I'll divorce him and come home to marry you within 5 years. I returned home alone and was despondent for a month. My friend couldn't stand seeing me like that, so he dragged me to a gala. That was when I met Yanran. When I fell silent, Liu Ruyan laughed even more gleefully. She leaned close, giggling, and stuffed the flowers into my arms. All right, I know you still have feelings for me. Otherwise, you wouldn't be wandering around near my home. You wanted to see whether I'd come back, right? Now, you got your wish. Are you happy? I frowned. My gaze swept over the city's largest hospital behind her, and I laughed in exasperation. Can't you see what's behind you? If you're blind, get some glasses. Move. Liu Ruyan didn't get angry. Instead, her smile deepened. I know you. You're all bark and no bite. You hate hospitals most of all. Even when you're sick, you have doctors come to your home. Why else would you come here? If not because you miss me. Don't worry. You don't need to explain yourself. I understand. See you in 7 days. My most handsome groom. She straightened her back and proudly patted her chest. That smug look made me even angrier. I hurled the flowers to the ground. Are you out of your mind? Tell Zhou Jingchen to keep you under control. Don't let a lunatic loose to hurt people. I turned and had barely taken 2 steps when Liu Ruyan lowered her head and busily typed on her phone. My friend, your trick really worked. He's jealous. He still likes me. When I get married, I'll seat you at the head table. Zhou Jingchen sent back a voice message. His tone gave away no emotion. Sure. Congratulations in advance. When she saw me leave, Liu Ruyan put down her phone and hurriedly had the bodyguards load the suits into the car. Don't get them dirty. My husband is a clean freak. Be careful with them. Then she shouted at the top of her lungs after me. Muyan, remember to try them on. If you don't like them, I'll pick out new ones overnight. The car door slammed shut. My face went completely dark. I went home with a car full of suits. Uncle Wang approached with a smile, rubbing his hands as he asked, Sir, what are these things for? Save them for the young master. His aunt bought these suits for when he marries someday. Uncle Wang gave an awkward smile. Sir, the young master is playing with your limited edition fountain pen. His face is covered in ink. If we give them to him, I'm afraid he'll ruin every last one. Before he finished speaking, my son came bouncing out of the house. His face was smeared with ink. He threw himself into my arms, rubbing ink all over me. Daddy, you're back? How's my little sister? She hasn't been fussy, has she? I was just about to say the baby was only 2 months along. How could we know the sex yet? The next second, my son's gaze fixed on the crisp suits. Wow, they're so cool. Daddy, I want to wear one. Uncle Wang hurried over and pulled him back. Oh, you little rascal, you're covered in dirt. Don't get the clothes dirty too. I sat down and poured myself a cup of hot water. Let him play. They're just a pile of garbage anyway. Remembering something, I curled my lips into a sly smile. Next time we meet, I'll have him think that Annie himself. Children have far too much energy. In less than 2 hours, he had wrecked over 100 suits. When there was nothing left to play with, he started pestering me for ice cream. I had no choice but to take him to the mall. The moment we entered, we ran into Zhou Jingchen trying on rings. The woman beside him raised a brow, wearing that same punchable expression. Miss me so soon? Why don't you unblock me? Call me whenever you need something, so you won't have to come all this way. She sidled up to me ingratiatingly, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. Did you try on the suits? Did you like any of them? I picked them all to match your style. It took me a year to track them all down, seeing how sincere I've been. Please, Your Highness, stop being mad at me, okay? Men age faster when they get angry. I pressed my lips together and said coldly, whether I look old is none of your concern, President Liu. I am not going to marry you anyway. Good dogs don't block the way. Move. The bystanders around us were watching the show. After I humiliated Liu Ruyan in public, her face changed instantly. Who are you calling a dog? I've been good enough to you. Don't push it too far. Yes, you waited for me for 5 years, but I worked hard overseas for you too. I only put up with you because I like you. Don't actually think you're all that. All you do outside is offend people. What kind of clout does the Zhang family have that you can strut around like this? Don't you know that yourself? When I said nothing, she thought I knew I was wrong, and her tone grew smugger. Look at you now. Who else would want you besides me? Wealthy women have plenty of young, gentle men to choose from. Do you think everyone is as foolish as I am, passing up an 18-year-old college student just to lower themselves and be your lapdog? When we were together, she did apologize and admit she was wrong plenty of times, but that was because she had no sense of boundaries. Either young men stopped her on the street for her contact information, or she accepted flowers from other admirers. I only asked her to apologize, yet she acted like she was the wrong one. All those pent-up grievances kept resurfacing. My face darkened at once. Is that so? Then President Liu really has suffered. Good thing you wisely broke up with me back then. Otherwise, you would have endured this misery for a lifetime. Since you know you chose the wrong person, then stop pestering me this time, President Liu. Let's part on good terms. Let's part on good terms. With that, I turned to leave. Liu Ruyan panicked instantly. What do you mean by that? The wedding is almost fully planned. Can you stop joking around? Before she finished speaking, Zhou Jingchen stepped out from behind her. The huge diamond ring on his finger was especially dazzling. You must be the Mr. Jiang Ryan has loved for 5 years. Hello. I'm Liu Ruyan's ex-husband, Zhou Jingchen. Now, I'm her good friend. Mr. Jiang, your temper truly lives up to its reputation. You nearly scared me. After saying that, he leaned closer, softly trying to soothe me. Don't be angry, Mr. Jiang. During those 5 years abroad, Ryan often spoke highly of you. I even helped pick out those suits for you. Well, did you like any of the styles? I gave him a cold look. Zhou Jingchen walked to Liu Ruyan and gave her a shove. Go apologize to Mr. Jiang. That's how men are. They only throw tantrums because they like you. Do you think everyone will indulge you like I do? Liu Ruyan instinctively moved to apologize to me. I turned and took my son's hand, wearing a polite smile. So Mr. Zhou picked out the suits. I haven't had a chance to thank you yet. My son had a wonderful time playing with them. The quality was just a little poor. They did not hold up well. Sweetheart, say thank you to Uncle Zhou. My son's confused gaze shifted between us. Zhou Jingchen froze for a moment, then gave a soft laugh. Mr. Jiang, you still love making jokes. You're not even married. Where would a child come from? Saying that would hurt Ryan terribly. During those years abroad, she drank herself senseless nearly every night. Even in her dreams, she called your name. When I helped wipe her down, she nearly mistook me for you several times. Now that you two are finally about to be together, stop making a scene. Let the child leave quickly. His father will be worried soon. Liu Ruyan stared at me fiercely, as if she wanted to bore a hole through my face. Whose child is this? What have you been doing behind my back? Jiang Muyan, how could you do this to me? Zhou Jingchen. Oh, come on. He nudged the woman's arm with his elbow. You cannot even understand that. You made him wait 5 years. Mr. Jiang hired an actor to throw a tantrum at you. Liu Ruyan visibly relaxed. Muyan, I know you're angry that I went abroad, but I had no choice. I've come back now too, so stop making trouble. Let the child go. I won't do anything else today. I'll just stay with you. You can even max out my card. As she spoke, she moved closer to grab me. My son was frightened into tears. He clung to my leg and refused to let go. Daddy, who is this Annie? Why does she say you're not my daddy? I don't want to leave Daddy. I'm not leaving. The moment he said the word daddy, the entire place fell deathly silent. Fury flared across Liu Ruyan's face. She raised her hand to hit him. Who is your daddy? Do not call him that. Shut up. My son cried even louder. I was furious. I pulled my son protectively into my arms. Are you insane? Can't you understand what I'm saying? This is my son. He's already 4 years old. Liu Ruyan's eyes widened. She froze where she stood. Her raised hand dropped limply to her side. Your son? I waited 5 years to marry you. I fought so hard to come back and find you. And now you tell me you have a son. Jiang Muyan, what do you take me for? A toy? Zhou Jingchen approached with a worried look. He appeared to be calming her down, but every word only fanned the flames. Ryan, do not get worked up. Maybe Mr. Jiang was heartbroken after you left. It's understandable that he made a mistake in a weak moment. As long as he isn't married, you'd only be a stepmother. The Liu family can certainly afford to feed a child. With a few words, he painted me as a man with a promiscuous private life. The bystanders watching instantly erupted. Did this guy get dumped? And now expect some decent woman to take him in? Damn, she waited 5 years for him. It is bad enough that he comes with a kid, but his attitude is awful too. He does not appreciate a good thing when he sees it. He isn't even much to look at. That woman must be blind. The man beside her is far more handsome. Those two are such a perfect match. The whispers grew louder and louder. Zhou Jingchen pretended to pull me aside. Mr. Jiang, stop being stubborn. Everyone is watching. Are you deliberately trying to humiliate Ryan? Just apologize. I'll talk Ryan around. She always listens to me. She'll definitely help you look after the child. Liu Ruyan clamped down hard on my wrist. Her grip was so strong it nearly crushed my bones. I can help you raise him, but I need to know who that woman is. After a long moment, she finally relented. Her voice was despondent. You're only acting this way because you know I love you. I do not dare blame you, but crippling a woman would be easy enough. I gave a cold laugh. I shook her off, holding my son close. Since President Liu is so capable, go investigate it yourself. After all, you arranged this wedding on your own. I turned to leave, but Liu Ruyan's bodyguards suddenly blocked my path. Until this matter is cleared up, you are not going anywhere. Afraid of frightening my son, I had to swallow my rage. I forced myself to browse the store for an hour. Then the bodyguard brought over a video of a woman dancing seductively in a bar. Liu Ruyan's eyes reddened with rage. She smashed her phone. You fell for some dancing female model? Jiang Muyan. Just to make me angry. You will stop at nothing. My gaze fell on the frozen image on the screen. It was the dance Yanran had specially learned before our marriage to make me happy. Liu Ruyan gripped my throat. Her nose pressed against mine. That woman. I will not let her off. After I cripple her, I'll pretend none of this ever happened. But if I catch you going to a place like that again, you know the consequences. Zhou Jingchen took a sip of coffee, laughing so hard he doubled over. Ruyan, that is enough. Didn't you go to places like that all the time overseas? Whenever you drank too much, you call me to pick you up. Mr. Jiang was heartbroken after you left, so he found someone to keep him company. That is understandable. Understand, like hell. I'm a woman. How can he possibly be the same as me? After venting her anger, Liu Ruyan took a deep breath. I'll handle that woman. Once we are married, the child will be part of the Liu family. I won't let that woman see him again. As for you, go home and wait for the wedding. Do not even think about leaving the house these next 6 days. With that said, she took Zhou Jingchen with her. The two walked away with their arms around each other's shoulders. Ruyan, don't look so upset. Tonight, I'll have a few drinks with you. Come on, let's go. I'll call a few more people to join us. Their voices gradually faded away. My son timidly tugged at me. Daddy, who was that lady? She's a crazy person. Do not tell mommy about this, okay? After all her trouble, I no longer felt like shopping. The moment I stepped out of the store, a sales clerk ran after me, carrying 3 shopping bags. President Liu bought these and said they were for you. Since you are here, we do not need to deliver them. Please take them. I opened the bags and took a look. They were all wedding rings I had picked out for us 5 years ago. What a shame. The rings had gone out of style, and so had our love. That night, just after I got my son to sleep, Zhou Jingchen somehow got hold of my number and added me as a contact. He sent me a video from a private room in a bar. Liu Ruyan was dead drunk, and she was shouting, "Isn't it just a child? It's not like I can't have one too. After we get married, I'll give him 8 or 10 kids. Then he won't dare go out and fool around." Zhou Jingchen sent a gleeful voice message. Do not overthink it. Ruyan talks tough, but she's soft-hearted. Do not worry. I'll take care of her. Nothing will happen. Just wait for the wedding. But at the end of the video, he deliberately showed the hotel keycard on the table, and she still wants to have 8 or 10 kids. I was so furious I nearly smashed my phone. It seemed there was no need to keep our marriage secret anymore. When Yanran heard I was going public with our marriage, she happily made 3 social media posts in a row. Yes, I have a husband. And we have an adorable son. We're holding our belated wedding ceremony in 6 days. Everyone is welcome to attend. On the day of the wedding, a transfer of 50 million arrived in my account. The note contained only a few words. Dowry. Voluntary gift. Voluntary gift. Never to be reclaimed. Never to be reclaimed. Voluntary gift. When Liu Ruyan arrived at my home with an impressive wedding convoy, the house was completely empty. She waited outside for 2 hours, her expression growing increasingly impatient. He already has a kid in tow, and he should be grateful I am not angry. And he still wants to throw his weight around. Kick the door down. The door shook from the deafening blows. The noise roused the neighbors. The moment Liu Ruyan explained that she was here to get married, the neighbors were dumbfounded. Get married? Hasn't the Jiang family's son been married for 5 years already? He even has a child. They're holding their belated wedding ceremony today. You must have the wrong house. Liu Ruyan's raised leg froze mid-kick. She nearly fell over. What did you say? A wedding ceremony? With whom? With Ms. Yanran, of course. The older neighbor looked as though it were obvious. She counted on her fingers. They've been secretly married for years. Nyangxi is already 4. They're finally holding the ceremony today, at the largest hot springs hotel on the outskirts of town. I heard they brought in 3 truckloads of flowers alone. Secretly married. Yanran? Liu Ruyan's voice suddenly rose. She grabbed the neighbor's arm. Impossible. You must be mistaken. Muyan said he'd wait for me 5 years. I only just divorced Zhou Jingchen. How could he? The neighbor's arm hurt from her grip. She hurriedly pulled free. What is wrong with you? How could I be mistaken? A few years ago, when Muyan's wife was pregnant with Nyangxi, Muyan drove her to every prenatal checkup. They left from this very building. I saw it with my own eyes. Seeing Liu Ruyan's face turn deathly pale, the neighbor felt uneasy. She backed away to steps. I need to go home and cook for my husband. I won't keep talking with you. If you're looking for Muyan, just ring the doorbell. Liu Ruyan stared at the Zhang family's closed door. Her mind went blank. Scenes from 5 years ago suddenly flooded back. That day in the living room, she held Jiang Muyan in her arms, her fingers tracing the brochure in his hands. Sweetheart, when we get married, let's hold our wedding at this hot springs hotel. Okay. Back then, Jiang Muyan smiled and nodded. His tears smeared against her shirt. He said, okay. Now, his wedding was indeed being held at that hotel. But the bride was no longer her. Her phone suddenly vibrated. Zhou Jingchen's name flashed on the screen. Hello, Ryan. How is it going? Zhou Jingchen's voice came through the phone, with a probing edge. I told you not to bring up the wedding right away. Apologize to Muyan first. You didn't start arguing with him, did you? Did you pick up the groom? Liu Ruyan gripped her phone, her knuckles turning white. No, the neighbor said. Muyan and Fu Yanran are holding their belated wedding ceremony today. They even have a 4-year-old son. There was silence on the other end for 2 seconds. Then Zhou Jingchen burst into exaggerated laughter. Nonsense. Fu Yanran? Isn't she the notorious devil of Beijing's elite circles? She never lets men get close to her. She has never even had a dating rumor. How could she possibly marry Muyan? That old neighbor must be going blind and mistook someone else for them. He paused, then adopted a serious tone, pretending to analyze it for his friend. Listen to me. Muyan must still resent how suddenly you left back then. He found someone to stage this act just to make you jealous. Think about it. He used to be so attached to you. Whenever you went on a 3-day business trip, he video called you every day. How could he really marry someone else? Maybe that child belongs to one of his friends, and he borrowed him for the act. Liu Ruyan's eyes lit up. It was as if she had grasped a lifeline. Really? He really is just trying to upset me. Of course he is. Zhou Jingchen sounded certain. Hurry to the hotel and see for yourself. If the Fu family really is holding a wedding, barge in and explain everything to Muyan. I've got your back, buddy. If that does not work, I'll come over now and cover for you. I'll make sure you get him back. After hanging up, Liu Ruyan started the car and sped off. Her hands trembled on the steering wheel. Zhou Jingchen's words filled her mind. It had to be an act. Muyan could not truly marry someone else. He was still waiting for her. The Hot Springs Hotel was on the outskirts of town. It took Liu Ruyan 40 minutes to get there. The moment she parked, the security guards in black suits stopped her. Ma'am, do you have an invitation? The guard remained expressionless, his sharp gaze sweeping over her. This is President Fu's wedding banquet today. No one without an invitation may enter. President Fu. Fu Yanran? Liu Ruyan's heart raced. Is there a man inside wearing a suit? His name is Jiang Muyan. President Fu's husband is indeed surnamed Jiang. The guard frowned, his tone turning colder. Ma'am, do you have an invitation or not? If not, please leave. Do not hold things up here. If you disrupt the wedding banquet, you cannot afford the consequences. Liu Ruyan panicked. She tried to push her way inside. I'm Jiang Muyan's friend. I need to see him urgently. Let me in. Stop. The 2 guards immediately stepped forward and blocked her. They held her firmly in place. Cause any more trouble, and we will not be so polite. Liu Ruyan stared at the hotel entrance. Faint music drifted out from inside. The panic in her heart deepened. She spotted a server carrying a tray toward the entrance. While the guards were not looking, she slipped in by pretending to be a server. The banquet hall was filled with white roses. Liu Ruyan's gaze swept over the crowd, then instantly fixed on the stage. I wore a custom-made suit, my hair neatly styled, smiling at the woman beside me. The woman wore a white wedding gown, her figure elegant. She was the woman from that video. But wasn't she a female model at that bar? How could she be Fu Yanran, the woman who ruled Beijing's elite circles? Liu Ruyan's breath caught. She watched as Fu Yanran held a ring box, carefully slipping a ring onto my finger. Her touch was unbelievably tender. Below the stage, a little boy in a tiny suit rose onto his toes, calling out in his sweet child's voice. Daddy, Mommy, hurry up and exchange rings. It was the boy from the mall that day. Liu Ruyan stopped breathing. An invisible hand seemed to crush her heart. The pain left her barely able to breathe. She looked at the smile in my eyes, a tenderness she had never seen before. Firm vows echoed in her ears. She could not hold back any longer. She shoved through the crowd and rushed onto the stage. Muyan, you cannot marry her. You promised to wait for me. I divorced Zhou Jingchen. I've come back. Today is our wedding. You cannot do this to me. She yanked me so hard that I stumbled. I forcefully shook off her hand, my gaze as cold as ice. Liu Ruyan, have you lost your mind? Today is my wedding to my wife. It has nothing to do with you. From beginning to end, I never agreed to marry you. Yanran stepped forward, shielding me behind her. Her gaze was sharp. Ma'am, watch your words and behavior. Harass my husband again, and I will have security escort you out. I'm harassing him. Liu Ruyan's eyes reddened. She pointed at her chest. Muyan and I were together for years. We agreed long ago that we would marry. If my family had not forced me into that arranged marriage, why would I have left? Muyan, have you forgotten what we promised each other? You said you would wait 5 years for me. I've come back. How can you marry someone else? Her eyes slowly turned red, glistening faintly with tears. The surrounding guests turned to look. Their whispers grew louder. Ignoring everything, Liu Ruyan reached for my hand again. Muyan, come with me. I'll treat you well. Can we start over? I'm begging you. I've already prepared our wedding. Do not marry her. I cannot lose you again. I took a step back, avoiding her grasp. My voice dripped with mockery. Start over? Liu Ruyan, what makes you think we can start over? 5 years ago, you left the country without a word. I went abroad to find you. I thought the Liu family had forced you into an arranged marriage. I wanted to save you. But what happened? Your family's bodyguards threw me into a police station. I went hungry for 2 days. Where were you then? After I came back, I cried every day. I wasted away to barely 88 pounds. And where were you? Liu Ruyan's face grew paler and paler. She opened her mouth, but could not say a word. You say you divorced Zhou Jingchen, so I should start over with you? I gave a cold laugh. Liu Ruyan, aren't you being far too presumptuous? I won't waste my life waiting for you to make mistakes, then waiting for you to turn back. I'm happy now. Please leave immediately. Otherwise, I'll have security remove you. Her eyes red. She demanded hoarsely. Then why didn't you tell me sooner? You watched me dance to your tune. Did that make you happy? I had the wedding ready. I had everything ready. Yet you turned my love into a joke. I laughed in anger. Didn't I tell you? I did. You just refused to believe me. My son spoke cautiously. Daddy, why is that lady here again? Is something wrong with her? Liu Ruyan suddenly lost control. She turned and climbed onto the second-floor railing. With one foot perched on it, she screamed down at the crowd below. Muyan, if you will not come with me, I'll jump from here. And I mean it. The guests erupted in chaos. Some screamed. Others pulled out their phones to take pictures. My expression changed. Yanran immediately pressed a hand to my shoulder. Do not panic. I'll handle this. Come down. Yanran looked up at her. Her tone was calm, but commanding. If you truly care about Muyan, then stop making a scene here. Let him finish his wedding in peace. No. Liu Ruyan's eyes were red. Not unless Muyan comes with me. With that, she closed her eyes and leaped down. With a loud thud, she crashed onto the carpet below the stage. Blood immediately seeped from her knees, yet she seemed unable to feel the pain. She scrambled up and charged toward the stage. Muyan, come with me. Security. Yanran ordered coldly. The guards standing by rushed over at once. They pinned Liu Ruyan down. I looked at her wretched state. My voice, utterly flat. Liu Ruyan, stop this nonsense. If you came to wish me well, then thank you. But if you came to cause trouble, the Fu family's security is not to be trifled with. Liu Ruyan, let go of Muyan. My parents suddenly pushed through the crowd. My father seized Liu Ruyan by the arm. How much longer are you going to hurt Muyan? Sir, I truly love Muyan. I've already divorced Zhou Jingchen. Liu Ruyan struggled, trying to explain. Divorced? My mother's eyes reddened. She cut her off, her voice trembling. After you left back then, Muyan sat in the living room every day, waiting for your call. When no call came, he waited at the airport. Finally, with no other choice, he bought a ticket and went abroad to find you. And what happened? The moment he arrived at the wedding venue, your family's bodyguards drove him out like he was insane. They even had him detained at the police station. He went hungry for 2 days and nights. After he came home, he locked himself in his room every day. He would not eat or speak. He was reduced to skin and bones. In the end, he even swallowed sleeping pills. If Yanran had not found him in time and taken him to the hospital, you would not even be able to see him now. Tears fell from my mother's eyes. He has a wife now. And a child. His wife is carrying another baby. They are living peacefully. Liu Ruyan, if you have even a shred of conscience, stop disrupting his life. You two ended long ago. The guards dragged Liu Ruyan outside. She struggled and looked back. She saw Fu Yanran bend down to pick up the ring from the floor. Then she gently slipped it onto my finger. She whispered, "Do not be upset. She is not worth it." I leaned into Fu Yanran's arms and nodded. That sight was like a knife, plunging into Liu Ruyan's heart. The pain nearly suffocated her. After being thrown out of the hotel, Liu Ruyan sat on the roadside. Blood still flowed from her knees, but she felt no pain. Her phone suddenly vibrated. It was the wedding planner. "Ms. Liu, why have you not arrived yet? The wedding venue is all set up. We are just waiting for you and Mr. Zhang." "Cancel it." Liu Ruyan's voice was hoarse, without a trace of warmth. "Cancel it." The caller froze. "Ms. Liu, you spent 3 months planning this wedding. The venue, the suits, and the banquet have all been paid in full. Canceling will cost you dearly." I said cancel it. Liu Ruyan roared and hurled her phone to the ground. The screen shattered into pieces, just like her heart at that moment. She leaned against a utility pole. Mrs. Jiang's words filled her mind. The scenes replayed in her mind like a film. Each one hurt so badly she could barely breathe. Not long after, her phone rang again. It was her mother calling. She picked up the shattered phone and swiped the screen to answer. "Ruyan, how did the wedding go? Muyan did not make trouble for you, did he?" "Mom, do not ask." Liu Ruyan's fury erupted. "If you had not forced me into a marriage alliance with Zhou Jingchen, how could I have lost Muyan? Now he has married someone else and has a child. Are you happy now?" "Forced you?" Mrs. Liu was stunned, then sounded hurt. "Ruyan, when did we ever force you? You were the one who said you wanted to marry Zhou Jingchen. You said the Zhou family could help us establish ourselves abroad. We could not stop you." "I said that myself." Liu Ruyan was stunned. Her voice trembled. "How could I say something like that?" "Mom, do not lie to me. You clearly said back then that if I did not marry Zhou Jingchen, you would not let me return home to see Muyan. When did we ever say that?" Her father's voice came through the phone, tinged with anger. "Ruyan, have you lost your mind? Back then, we even urged you to stay with Muyan. You refused to listen. You insisted on marrying Zhou Jingchen. Now, Muyan has married someone else, and you are blaming us." Liu Ruyan hung up. Her mind was a mess. What her mother had said was completely different from Zhou Jingchen's version. Could it be that what happened back then was not her parents forcing her? Then why had Zhou Jingchen lied to her, ignoring her injuries? Liu Ruyan drove straight to Zhou Jingchen's house. When he opened the door and saw Liu Ruyan, he smiled and said, "Ruyan, what brings you here? Have you made up with Muyan? I thought you would be working on him until midnight." Liu Ruyan stared at him, her gaze icy. "Zhou Jingchen, when I married you back then, did you deceive me?" My mother said, "They did not force me back then. I was the one who wanted to marry you. But those words, I never said them." Zhou Jingchen paused. Then his eyes reddened. "Ruyan, how can you say that about me? We had no choice back then, did we? Have you forgotten? You told me back then that your parents did not approve of you being with Muyan. They insisted you marry me to bind our families together, or they would cut off your financial support and make sure you could never return home. That is why I married you? To help you deal with your parents." He grabbed Liu Ruyan's sleeve, tears falling from his eyes. "I am a man. I married and divorced you in a flash. Now everyone laughs at me. What did I get out of it? Was it not because I saw you as a friend and wanted to help you?" Seeing how aggrieved he looked, Liu Ruyan's suspicions wavered again. She sighed. "I am sorry. I should not have doubted you. Maybe I remembered it wrong. It is all right. I know you are confused right now." Zhou Jingchen wiped away his tears, then smiled and patted her shoulder. "If you still want to reconcile with Muyan, I will think of another way to help you. We're buddies, after all." "Of course I will help you." Liu Ruyan nodded, then turned and left. She did not see that the instant she turned away, a vicious glint flashed in Zhou Jingchen's eyes. Liu Ruyan returned home, lay in bed, and tossed and turned, unable to sleep. She thought of Jiang Muyan and remembered what he had said. Her chest felt so tight she could barely breathe. She opened WeChat, used an alternate account to add Jiang Muyan, and opened his Moments feed. It was filled with snapshots of his everyday life. In the first photo, Fu Yanran helped Nyangxi build with blocks. In the second, Fu Yanran, was peeling strawberries for him. In the third, the family of three vacationed by the sea. Sunlight spilled over them, their warmth enough to make anyone jealous. Liu Ruyan looked at the photos, and tears began to fall. She remembered how, back then, she had also told Jiang Muyan she would take him on a seaside vacation and raise their child with him. But those promises, she had fulfilled none of them. The longer she looked, the more her heart ached. She closed WeChat and immediately ordered someone to investigate what happened back then. 2 days later, her assistant came to see her with a stack of documents. Ms. Liu, we found it. The Zhou family plotted to seize the Liu family's businesses back home. They forced your parents to leave the country. Mr. Zhou forged text messages from your mother and intercepted every message you sent to Mr. Jiang, including the text you sent to explain things to Jiang Muyan back then. The assistant handed over the documents. There are also recordings of Mr. Zhou's calls with his father. They discussed how to plot against you and how to separate you from Mr. Jiang. Liu Ruyan took the documents, her hands starting to tremble. She remembered Zhou Jingchen telling her every time, "Ruyan, we are friends. That is why I like helping you." It is never a burden. It had all been a lie. He had deceived her from the very beginning. Liu Ruyan's fury erupted. She grabbed her car keys and rushed to Zhou Jingchen's house. The Zhou house was empty. She called Zhou Jingchen, but he did not answer. Then she remembered the bar Zhou Jingchen often visited and drove there. The bar was dimly lit, with deafening music. Liu Ruyan spotted Zhou Jingchen in a corner. He was leaning against a strange woman, a drink in his hand, speaking through a drunken haze. On closer inspection, the stranger bore a striking resemblance to Liu Ruyan. The resemblance was sickening. That fool Liu Ruyan still thinks I see her as a buddy. I have stayed by her side for 5 years. I refuse to believe she will not fall for me. Jiang Muyan is already married. Sooner or later, she will be mine. So, what if she is divorced? So, what if she does not like me? Only I have ever truly cared for her. Liu Ruyan stood not far away, listening to his words. It felt as if her heart had been struck hard, the pain nearly making her collapse. She rushed over, yanked Zhou Jingchen away, and slammed her fist into the wall. Blood immediately gushed out. "Zhou Jingchen, you have been lying to me all along." Zhou Jingchen looked at her through bleary, drunken eyes. He smiled and said, "Ruyan, what are you doing here? Did you come to take me home?" "Shut up," Liu Ruyan roared, her eyes brimming with hatred. "Zhou Jingchen, you deserve to die. When you sober up, you will atone for what you have done." She turned and left the bar. There was only one thought in her mind. Find Jiang Muyan, explain everything to him, and beg for his forgiveness. Liu Ruyan drove to the Fu family villa. It was already late at night. The lights in the villa were still on. Through the window, she could see the warm scene inside. Fu Yanran was watching cartoons with Niangxi in the living room. Jiang Muyan sat on the nearby sofa, looking up at them from time to time, a gentle smile on his lips. The little boy called out, "Daddy," 10 times a minute. Every time, Jiang Muyan answered gently, "Daddy is here. Be good, Niangxi. Do not bother mommy. It is fine. I like Niangxi just the way he is. He should be brave, so no bad woman can trick him away." The smile on Jiang Muyan's lips froze. Something seemed to come to mind, and his voice turned low. "Yes, do not let bad people deceive you. One day, my son will find a woman as perfect as his mother." A sharp pain pierced Liu Ruyan's heart. Her hand froze in midair before it could knock, and she no longer had the strength to bring it down. Yes, to him now, she was a bad person, a liar, a lunatic, but never his beloved. In his beautiful life, she was the only blemish. She remembered every moment she had shared with Jiang Muyan. Those sweet memories had become sharp blades, cutting her to pieces. The wind swept up the fallen leaves. Liu Ruyan crouched by the door, like a lost child, helpless and despairing. After an unknown amount of time, Niangxi suddenly looked toward the door. When I turned to look, there were only fallen leaves scattered there. That night, I looked at the empty steps outside the door, where only wind-blown leaves remained. I felt nothing at all. Yanran came over, carrying the deeply sleeping Niangxi. She gently wrapped her arms around my waist from behind, resting her chin in the curve of my shoulder. Her voice was soft, still husky from sleep. "The wind is strong outside. Come inside, or you will catch a cold." I reached back and took her hand. My fingertips brushed her slightly rounded belly. Our second child was growing there. My heart melted completely. 5 years ago, I thought my life had rotted in the mud. She reached out and pulled me free. Little by little, she put me back together. She gave me a real home. Early the next morning, Nyangxi padded over in his little slippers and pounced onto my bed. His little head rubbed against my arm, and he called out in his sweet little voice, "Daddy, get up. Mommy made you soft-boiled eggs. If you do not get up, I will eat them all." Laughing, I scooped him into my arms. I pinched his soft little cheeks. "You little glutton, who ate ice creams yesterday and had a stomachache that night?" Nyangxi stuck out his tongue. He climbed out of my arms and ran over to grab Yanran's hand. "Mommy, Daddy is picking on me." Yanran smiled and ruffled his hair. She handed me a glass of warm milk. Her eyes were full of endless tenderness. She was just 3 months pregnant. Her morning sickness had not passed yet, and she was still a little pale. Yet she still got up early every day to make me breakfast, keeping everything at home in perfect order. I took the milk, wrapped an arm around her waist, and drew her into my arms. "I told you, you do not need to get up early. I can do it myself. What if you wear yourself out? It is all right." Yanran looked up at me. Her smiling eyes curved into crescents. "Cooking for you and Nyangxi makes me happy." This kind of life was simple and warm. It was a happiness I had not dared dream of 5 years ago. After taking Nyangxi to kindergarten, I went to the office. My assistant had just placed the documents on my desk when he casually mentioned recent news from our circle. "Mr. Zhang, the Zhou family has completely fallen apart." My assistant spoke with a note of regret. President Liu submitted all the evidence that the Zhou family forged documents back then and maliciously seized the Liu family's domestic businesses. There was also proof that Zhou Jingchen embezzled company funds and committed commercial fraud. The Zhou company's assets are now being liquidated in bankruptcy. Zhou Jingchen was sentenced to 7 years. He was sent to prison yesterday. I raised an eyebrow. It was no surprise. A man like Zhou Jingchen schemed over every detail, deceived Liu Ruyan for 5 years, and ended up like this. He brought it entirely upon himself. My assistant added, "I heard that before Zhou Jingchen went to prison, all those fair-weather friends of his disappeared. He went to President Liu to beg for mercy, but President Liu would not even see him. And that woman he had been keeping, the one who resembled President Liu, ran off with the last of his money. No one can find her now. He is not doing well in prison either. He offended plenty of people before. They have made his life miserable. He has completely broken down." I gave a quiet hum. I did not ask any more. Zhou Jingchen's fate was his own choice. It was not worth a moment of my attention. But Liu Ruyan, people in our circle said, she seemed like an entirely different person. The old Liu Ruyan had been bold and proud. Wherever she went, everyone fawned over her. She was always the most dazzling person in the room. Now, she rarely appeared at social gatherings. She handed most of the Liu family's businesses over to her parents. She lived alone in the small apartment in the south of the city, where we once lived together. She barely ever left home. The first time I ran into her was when I took Yanran for a prenatal checkup. That day, Yanran had just finished her ultrasound. The doctor said the baby was healthy. I was holding the ultrasound report, staring at the tiny shape on it, unable to stop smiling. When I looked up, I saw Liu Ruyan at the end of the hall. She had lost a great deal of weight. Her cheeks were hollow. Her once impeccably styled long hair was carelessly tied behind her head. She wore a faded hoodie and jeans. There was little color in her face. She stared blankly in our direction. When she saw me looking, she was like a startled rabbit. She spun around, then stumbled away. Yanran followed my gaze and gently squeezed my hand. "That is Miss Liu." I gave a quiet hum and looked away. I carefully folded the ultrasound report and put it in my bag, then supported her as we headed outside. "Do not worry about her. Let us go home." Yanran smiled. She did not ask anything else. She never made a fuss over Liu Ruyan. It was not that she did not care. She trusted me completely and understood me completely. I had long since let go of the past. My present and my future held only her and our children. Later, Uncle Wang told me that Liu Ruyan had come to our neighborhood several times. She only stood at the entrance, watching Nyangxi play in the yard from afar. She never dared come closer. Once, Nyangxi ran out holding a kite and nearly bumped into her. She panicked, picked up Nyangxi's kite, and said in a trembling voice, "I am sorry." Then she hurried away, as if she were afraid I would see her. When I heard about it, I merely said, "I understand." I said nothing more. Others in our circle also said. Liu Ruyan cried every day while clutching our old photos. She visited every place we had once gone together. The seaside guest house, the mountaintop overlook, even the old noodle shop we often visited in school. She sat in that noodle shop all afternoon. She ordered 2 bowls of the beef noodles I used to love. She set one across from herself. Untouched, she barely ate from her own bowl. Her tears fell into the soup. Only then did she finally regret it. She regretted leaving the country without a word. She regretted leaving me there alone to suffer every indignity. She regretted believing Zhou Jingchen's lies. She regretted pushing away the man who loved her most. But by the time she escaped the deception and turned back, I was no longer there waiting for her. But in this world, there is no cure for regret. That weekend, I took Yanran and Nyangxi to the beach for a vacation. Nyangxi ran barefoot along the sand, collecting a pile of colorful seashells. He said he would make the prettiest necklace for his unborn sister. Yanran sat beneath the beach umbrella, smiling as she watched him. I sat beside her, peeling seedless grapes for her, and feeding them to her one by one. The sea breeze drifted softly by, carrying its salty, damp scent. Warm sunlight poured over us. Even the breeze seemed sweet. Nyangxi ran over and threw himself into my arms. He held up the biggest shell in his hand. "Daddy, look. This shell is so pretty. Save it for Mommy." Smiling, I took the shell and handed it to Yanran. Watching mother and son smile so happily, my heart was filled with peace. Yanran leaned against my shoulder. She said softly, "This is wonderful." I lowered my head and kissed her forehead, then held her hand tightly. "Yes, with you both by my side, anywhere feels like home." As for Liu Ruyan, her regrets, her disappointments, and her tears, none of them have anything to do with me anymore. She chose her own life. Whether it is good or bad, she must bear it herself. In my life, there has long been no place for her. My tenderness, my devotion, and the rest of my life will belong only to my wife, my child, and to the one who gave me a home. As the sun set, Nyangxi held Yanran's hand and mine, leaving trail after trail of footprints in the sand, stretching into the distance. I looked at Yanran beside me, her eyes crinkled with joy. One thought filled my heart. Just like this, for a lifetime, would be enough. The end.